Roper just gave me a tall order. He said...
It's got to be funnier, man. I went back and watched some of the older previews. This dude used to have me rolling. He hasn't come up with anything that clever in a while.
All right. I'm just going to start saying randomly inappropriate stuff and just see what hits the bullseye then, sir.
I'm pretty sure I covered inappropriate in the last preview with my pronunciation slip-ups.
Hey, it is what it is.
I made it a little entertaining.
We're under a lot of pressure right now. Scuffle, we're going 65 through meat trains. Yes, I said meat trains. What? Where did that start? What match did that start? That's the T-shirt giveaway trivia question. That's a minute ago too.
That is pretty good.
Where did that come from?
I'm trying to remember when that started.
Meat trains. Woo woo!
I remembered now when you did the train whistle.
Yep.
I got it.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
So to me, 65 is a pretty interesting weight. You've got a lot of top end talent here with Taylor, Caldwell, Solzer. I think it's a little drop off with Moreno, then Mock, Toll, Lugendorf, Silverberg, Kent, Palacio, Booth, and Wilson. We don't need to expound on the David Taylor love. That joker is good. I got my yearly beat down, fold up. I can finally raise this arm above my head now. It was like this for like 2 days and was bent over. It was bad.
But a kid that's almost done with college wrestling still loves learning and technique as much as that joker does at the end of his collegiate career. Pretty cool.
You know, it's awesome when you get beat down that bad and it's fun to wrestle him.
You're just like, I'm having the time of my life getting my face ripped off. Tyler Caldwell, man.
2 and 3. This is what I'm looking forward to the most. It is number 1 on my list of stuff I'm watching at the Scuffle. This weight, the number 2 seed, the number 3 seed, that semifinal.
Bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-N-A-N-A-N-A-S.
That's
bananas.
Bananas.
Yeah. See, you got it. Bananas. Caldwell Solzer is going to be off the charts. We've seen a decent bit of Moreno. Corey Mock could be the crazy, wild mix-up in this whole deal. He is unbelievably tough on top, but unbelievably awkward tough on top. Does not ride legs like your traditional leg rider. Used to be crazy reckless, but is crazy reckless in a different leg ride now. You were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, his leg ride's the same. He's just his lock's a little bit different, or different than I've seen him in the past. And I've never seen anybody do it before. I'll try and watch a lot of leg riding, so it's different. I'm gonna try and take some notes on it, and then come home, play with it, see what we can do with it.
Mock was UNC, now UTC. Seems like he's having some pretty good success at UTC. Don't get it wrong at all. Cerritos doing an unbelievable job. Obviously, Esslinger's been there, but Cerritos was added to Hatcher was kind of that missing link. I think you're starting to see a big upside of UTC wrestling. Who they beat? They beat a duel. They won a pretty good duel against somebody who's ranked. Was it Stanford they beat?
They beat Stanford pretty badly.
Yeah. So I mean, UTC on the upswing. Zach Toll. Just solid all positions. He actually wrestled Caldwell pretty close last year. I think it was quarters or semis. That was a pretty good match. And then Caldwell started getting a single going a little bit. But look for Zach Toll, man, to be up in that mix as always. I'll let you talk about your man TK Turtle Doves.
I'm actually jumping back up to Solzer. You just kind of glanced over him like, we're not going to talk about him too much. To me, he's made one of the biggest jumps from last year to now.
Paint me with that brush.
He's gotten pretty dominant on his feet. He's got some good attacks. I got a little snidbit from...
Snidbit! From, just making up words.
That's my...
Sakakuchi.
That's a
snidbit.
That's a Grandma Roper. That's a Grandma Roper thing.
Snidbit. Love it.
From Dave Taylor, who, dude, the guy knows a lot of wrestling. I'm going to sit by him for a few rounds at the Scuffle and just pick his brain and talk wrestling. He's seen a lot, and he's seen a lot of these guys from when they were little, from traveling around, so he's got a pretty interesting perspective on it. He said Solzer was like a 19-time world Olympic champion weight powerlifter when he was a little kid.
Really?
Yeah, not that many. I'm joking.
Dave Taylor.
He said he was a really good powerlifter as a little kid, so he's got to be really strong. And the way he finishes his singles, kind of Stieber-esque. So he's got to be pretty strong in the way he wrestles. He's made a big jump. I'm looking forward to see what happens with him and Caldwell because it's a little contrast in styles. Caldwell really stingy, great position. He might be one of the better defensive wrestlers I've seen in a while. Sort of make comparison to Varner. They wrestle a little bit similar. Back when Varner
exact same size too.
Back when Varner's big as a mountain.
How much does Varner weigh right now?
Mountain.
With abs.
It jumps on and it says mountain. Really good defensive wrestler. Solzer's pretty wide open on his feet. Both are accomplished on the mat. It's one of those, you say it all the time, styles make fights. This is the one I'm looking for.
And it's gonna be a fight! By the way, Dave Taylor, super approachable, loves a lot of people around him and conversing with him, just crowd around him at the Scuffle and ask a lot of questions.
You are going to get beat up, and I'm going to
Dave Taylor is just a joy to converse with. Just crowd him around.
I'm going to be there. Lugendorf, you know about him now. He's not one of those guys coming out of nowhere. Got a different style. He's got that overhook shuck that I still can't get down. I just end up breaking people's elbows when I try it. But it's cool,
I broke
man.
another guy.
It's cool. I'm trying to figure it out and kind of the nuances of that technique. I can't quite get it down. So if anybody knows how to do it, know the secret to it, I know who. I'll ask Coleman Scott. That dude will know how to do it.
Coleman Scott or Esposito will be there probably.
Yeah, Esposito's got really good. That guy knows technique.
Now
too.
Silverberg, he's your 8th seed, I believe. He's lost to a lot of guys. He's ranked 18th in the country.
Elder's the only one. Elder's Oregon State, right? That's the only one that jumps out to me like it's a little bit weird. Got pinned by him.
Right. He's wrestled to everybody close, though, was what I was going to say. He lost to Moreno 3-9, 0-2 with Caldwell, 2-4 with Monk, which Monk's one of those guys, if you kind of get lost in what he's doing, Monk can run it up on you and also ring you up for a fall, too. So a close match with Monk tells me that Silverberg's game to be in the hunt for placement here comes from an unbelievably long line of wrestling tradition with the Silverberg family. I think a granddad might have wrestled like somebody like George Washington or something like that. It's on Wikipedia.
God, that's an old granddad.
Oh yeah, might have been a great granddad. I don't know how old you have to be to wrestle George Washington, but I'm pretty sure.
A few greats.
Maybe a great. That might be
Several greats.
Nah. 20 years.
Casey Kent
Maybe.
seen Casey Kent. I haven't seen wrestle a lot. He's got some decent results. Beat LeBlanc in overtime. Beat a super tough Zach Strickland from App State 4-0. Lost to Riddick close. Lost to Veltre close, who's really good from Bloomsburg. So I'm going to try and catch one of his matches. He's a pin guy. I don't know if I said that or not. I hadn't seen him at all. I bet I can go back to Keystone Classic and find something. I'm going to go look at that as soon as we finish that. See if I can find a Casey Kent match. See what he's good at, what he's got out there. Palacio scores a ton of points, gives up a lot of points, makes it fun. Beat Booth.
13-12 with Booth. I want to see that match.
I think that's Vegas, so it might be in there. I'm going to go back and look for it too. When I was doing these notes, I want to find it. Beat Clark Glass. Lost. They split with Booth. Booth beat him 5-6. Lost to Morris, Yates, Wilson, and Moreno. And I tell you, as I was researching this weight, Clark Glass has lost to some really good guys, really close. We're going to be talking about him really soon. Brandon Guy, and one of the better single legs I've seen.
I was about to say, finishes an Iranian.
Gosh, man, he's good
so clean. Booth, New York guy, goes to Drexel. I think he might have stayed at Drexel for a year after he decided not to wrestle, then popped back up on the radar in Hofstra, which is in New York. I'm sure he's back home, got the itch again, said, hey, I want to wrestle. I was on this guy's bandwagon early. I loved the way he wrestled. I liked the intensity he brought. Hadn't got to see him wrestle a lot in a Hofstra singlet yet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a continuation of the talent he had at Drexel. But he, like I said, he's got a win over Glass. He's lost to Mock 1-6, which probably got caught up in the squidopus web of Mock and gave up.
Good. That's pretty good for Mock.
Gave up some swipes here and there. Looking forward to see Booth back on the wrestling mat this year.
The last one that kind of made a big splash right at the beginning of the season. He won like 14 matches in a row. Was Wilson. He's cooled off lately. After he lost to Mock in that duel, I don't think he had a very good
win over Yates.
I don't think he had a very good Vegas, if that's the tournament I'm thinking about. But yeah,
he beat Dan Yates 6-3.
You're pretty good.
Thumbs up, seal of approval, except from Dan Yates, of course.
Yeah, who's thumbs down?
Who is like, no, losing is bad.
Another tough weight, 74. You got Perry Brown, Storby Wiltz, top 4 solid. It's going to be great matches. Then it's a little bit of a drop. Doty's really climbing up there with me. I love watching that wrestle. He's a kitchen sinker, as we like to say. Ottinger below him. Matt Miller, who's one of the most athletically gifted 74-pounders out there from Navy. Tanner Weatherman, another great wrestling family from Iowa. Radford, Weatherspoon, England, and Latham. We love some Chris Perry. He's one of the favorites. He's extended CMP family.
Chris Perry single-handedly got me off the Okie State hate.
He did.
Josh Stephen couldn't do it. Mike Stephen couldn't do it. Chris Perry, in a 3-day trip this summer, converted me 160.
He's a wrestling fan, man. That guy loves studying wrestling, watches a ton of wrestling, which I think a lot of people miss out on. At some point, I'll give my analysis on why I don't think wrestlers watch enough film and why they should watch more, but I won't talk about it now.
Matt Brown,
to talk about.
Chris Perry, obviously with the win over Storley, comes off a loss, immediate loss. I think it was Storley was the match right after he lost to Howe. Maybe tweaked something a little bit. I hate saying that word, but maybe hurt something a little bit. I don't know. Then comes back, good solid win over Storley. Storley got him with the double over the top pin last year in the duel.
Double over the top pin.
Yeah, double hands over the top, pinned him.
That's pretty technical.
Didn't he? He was double boots and Storley caught him and pinned him in the duel. Pretty sure.
I don't remember.
Pretty sure. But if we see a Perry Brown final, that is going to be lots of action.
I believe that's an NCAA Finals rematch, Brett.
Yeah, but I was alluding to that.
Okay.
But the NCAA Finals match, and Perry will agree with you, was not exciting, not a lot of action, and I think Perry, once he kind of got that weight off his back of winning his title, I think this year's going to be more about fun, scoring points, and really showcasing what he's good at, which is being awesome.
Drilling with the guy and sparring with him a little bit. Big guys should not be able to be that smooth.
No.
His technique is phenomenal.
Yep. Super crisp.
Storley, super funky, finds ways to win. He's got some of the best hips in NCAA wrestling right now, and I know that's like a generic term that gets thrown around all the time, but to me it's just he finds a way to come out on top in scrambles, and he can wrestle through weird positions where most people just kind of belly out and give up the points. When I watch him wrestle, I'm not sure what he's great at. Like, I know he's great, and he's an unbelievable wrestler, but it's
like
not
a 5-time North Dakota State champ.
It's not like,
was that Storley? Or is that Schiller?
I think Storley's South Dakota.
South Dakota. They're practically the same thing.
It's not like
cold and
like
flat.
Stieber is unbelievable with his bars and tearing people's arms off, and David's really good at ankles. You know what people are good at. Storley, who's that elite level guy, I watch him wrestle, and I just like. It's not like I can put a move on it or a position on it. He's just good.
Logan Storley, good.
Logan Storley, good. Tyler Wilkes, good. Pittsburgh guy beat Riddick 4-2. I think he's only got 2 losses on the year. Lost to Davis and Brown, which again, when I was doing research on this, I wish Joey Davis was Division I wrestler.
Oh man,
I don't know how good he could be. I really don't.
Notre Dame need to come to this tournament next year.
That's a phenomenal idea. You need to make that happen. You're good at making stuff like that happen. It needs to happen because Joey Davis is legit. Top end
Notre Dame is legit.
Oh, for sure. They've got a lot of really good guys.
If Notre Dame comes to this tournament this weekend, how many kids do they place?
3. I don't know.
All right.
Wilkes, a lot like
I was waiting for some good insight. You just said 3.
I got a lot to talk about. Wilkes is a lot like his brother. Really good position wrestler. Pretty physical for the weight class, and it can be dangerous too. If you make mistakes, he capitalizes on it really well. I like watching him wrestle. I really enjoyed watching his brother wrestle. Think he's like 8th or 7th or something like that ranked. So he's way up there. And a guy that's climbing the ladder on my list is fun to watch. Caught him in the duel last year when Chattanooga and Virginia and UTC dueled. Stephen Doty brings it.
Jed Moore brings it?
Yeah, it's pretty close to it. Penn Lugendorf lost close to Riddick, got beat up by Kokesh a little bit, but a lot of people get beat up by Kokesh. He's really climbing the ladder, man. I think he's going to do well here. I think he becomes a household name from Scuffle. He could be the guy that kind of beats the guy he's not supposed to beat, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
You should have rolled with that. That would have been good. Make sure you catch a Matt Miller match. Navy, number 12th ranked guy in the country. Speak Oettinger, Massa, Penn Lugendorf, as he mentioned earlier, lost to the Lugendorf pinned him. Sorry, 5-4 win over Hammond. He's definitely climbing through.
I tell you, with Miller, Lugendorf pinned him, and then I think he forfeited the match after that, so I don't know if he got banged up or hurt or what happened.
Right.
I didn't see the match, so just whenever I see that fall or tech fall and then the match after after it is a medical forfeit, you kind of wonder if something happened in the match or not. And again, that's just speculation.
Please believe Radford's going to be in the mix here. Super gigantic 74-pounder, moves great. Actually, pretty solid defense. We don't have any notes on him. I'm assuming he's this. I'm pretty sure he placed last year, top 6. So I don't know if he's dropped a couple, dropped to a couple guys this year, which kind of landed him out of the rankings nationally and then out of the seeds here at this tournament. But keep an eye on Kevin Radford. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's top 6 here.
That's a pretty good call. And then you got Weatherspoon, England, Latham below them. Oregon State's a little bit younger than they've been in the past, but you've heard us talk about Oregon State guys. You've seen them
super good in about 2 years.
You've seen them do well at NCAAs. They've got great coaching, so Oregon State guys always do well at these kind of things.
For sure.
184. To me, this I guess kind of marquee weight class.
Yep.
This or 97. To me, there's going to be some good stuff happening here.
Ruth Steinhaus, and I think if there's anybody that could beat Ruth this year, there's probably 2 guys in the weight class that could maybe put the match together to do it. You notice I left myself a lot of outs in that statement. But I really think Steinhaus and Dean is, I mean, as little as I've seen of him. He texted me and he was like, dude, this Gabe Dean kid is good. So I watched as much as I could on him. Dude, like I said, between Steinhaus and we kind of know what Steinhaus is going to bring. He's going to work out some hooks. He's going to slide you by. He's going to get that wrist and roll you up on top. But Dean, I'm interested to see how he's really going to do against the best guys at this weight. But I wouldn't be surprised.
He's going to do well.
I would be surprised if he beat Ruth. I'm not going to lie, but
I think everybody would be surprised if he beat Ruth.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, he's for a freshman, he's legit. He's very, very good for a freshman, man. Thomasite moving down, Pitt guy, Eblin, Thomas, Beard, Falsey, Wheeler, Stauffer, Boyd, and Farr.
Pafar? That's not Pafar?
I just going with Farr. I'm assuming the P silent. Man, I think of who I want to talk about here.
I want to know why Falsey's so low.
Man, he's had some
bad losses this year.
I think to me, when I watch him wrestle compared to where he's been in the past, he's got to be banged up. He's got to be dealing with.
Does he have a mustache? That's the first thing I would say is, all right, you're 19th in the country. Do you have a mustache? If he does, then I'm concerned. If he doesn't, then I'm like, just grow a mustache. You're good, dude.
I hope if he is injured, I hope he gets better and puts together a great year. I'm a huge Falsey fan.
Kitchen sinker.
Just and an awesome dude, man. Just a great guy.
Very, very, very cool cat.
Very good dude. Thomas is really tough. Had some good results from Penn. Beard's back in the lineup. He was out from Iowa State for a while. He's got a whole lot of talent. Had a great prep career. Farr. He was the guy I was going to jump off at. He's not starting right now, man, but that dude is tough. I can't remember what match I watched him at, but I was impressed with him. Minnesota just reload. Steinhaus is going to graduate out of the lineup, and Farr is just going to step right in. He's very, very legit. He's going to do well here. I could see him jumping up probably as... Dude, I could see him placing 5th and not be surprised. He's got that kind of talent, even as tough as Elblin is for Missouri. And you know he's going to be well coached. We talked about Missouri in the last duel. So this is going to be a good weight. It's really close. Sam Wheeler's a guy I haven't seen a lot from Kent State. I tell you, man, Kent State takes guys that... It's not guys you heard of in high school. I know they're tough wrestlers in high school, but it's not the marquee names, and they turn them into great wrestlers. that whatever system, whatever they've got running there works. Their guys are tough, man. They wrestle well in all positions.
Taking that maybe runner-up or that third-place Ohio guy and turning him into a round of 12 guy inside of a couple years is pretty doggone impressive.
I know there's been some interviews with Andressy there. He talks about we take the guys that nobody else wants, and I think he's got. I think he might be looking at recruiting a little bit different, man, and the kids he's going after. He's definitely, I talked about that documentary you could do. He's definitely somebody that you could look into about how to make kind of a mid-major program competitive at that highest level.
They are.
They do an unbelievable job, man.
They are. They're out there wrestling, and they're not wrestling a regional whatever schedule.
I'm going to give all the credit to Zeb Miller.
Yeah, Zeb. Secretly puppet mastering behind the scenes, calling all the shots. I've been zero funny. I've failed to the challenge.
I told you, dude.
I've failed the challenge.
You don't have what you normally have. Not a whole lot of heat.
I'm a shell of a man.
Shell of a man.
Well, maybe we're doing these during the normal hours a day, and we've never done that before. I just can't operate. I can't. My funny comes between midnight and 4 a.m. I can't.
You got to overcome your circumstances.
I'm trying.
You coach these guys up to win NCAA titles all the time through previews. You got to coach yourself up, man.
I know, man.
You got to start watching more film. You got to watch yourself, watch them again, and be like, "That was a perfect time."
See right there where I threw a dart? I should have made a comment about a booger hanging out of somebody's nose or something like that.
Or not.
God dang.
97, 90, just
So frustrated right now. You can't force funny.
on a cold streak.
Yeah,
97.
It happens.
I'm more excited about this than 84. Let me run it down for you. You got Schiller, Gadsden, McIntosh, Mitchell, Meeks. You've all heard of those names. If you watched Scuffle last year, you saw Phil Wellington come in and surprise a lot of people.
Yep.
And then the guy I'm looking forward to watching the most at this weight, Jaden Cox. When I was talking with Travis Gerard about this, and we were just kind of talking through how tough it was, I said Jaden Cox wins 197 at the Southern Scuffle. I'm sticking with it.
Tall order, sir.
As big a fan as I am of Morgan McIntosh, and man,
Tall order,
I drive
sir.
that love train pretty hard. I'm going Jaden Cox. Just goes through this minefield of porcupines and beats them all.
Minefield of porcupine, or the porcupine's actual mines,
it's
or is
like-
it just porcupines?
No,
or is the porcupine come up, explode,
It's
and
actually-
the quills go everywhere?
It's actually a punji pit that then when you step down in it,
And then the porcupine shoots
jumps up and explodes all its quills out at you in the face.
That's dangerous. Why don't they have that?
You hadn't said punji pit in a few. See, that's what I'm talking about, dude. You lost all your stuff.
I gotta go back and look at my notes. You're right. I have not been taking preview notes. I'm more worried about business.
Every 3 previews, you used to have punji pit in there somewhere. That
See,
was one of your
this is a
names.
perfect example of a little bit of success and money changes people.
It does, man.
I've gotten so
Get away from
focused
your
on
roots.
selling apparel and headphones that I've just lost touch with my funny side. That's unacceptable.
Gotta make sacrifices.
I'm going to stop right now. We're cutting out.
Here it is. The national search is on. If you think you're funny and you got some humor, I've got to replace it. It's chopped. So send your resume.
You don't know how hard he is to work with. You're just like, that looks like fun. And then you spend a couple hours with him and you're just like, good God, Fretwell.
I quit.
What have you been dealing with all these years? This guy's such a prima donna. Only brown M&Ms on his desk. I have to pick out all the red, orange, and blue.
And you have to turn them up so they're
Yep.
W's. I don't want M's on my desk.
They're wrestling M&Ms. It's ridiculous.
W's, because that's all we do here is get W's.
McIntosh, to me, is the complete mini-meat train. He can scramble, he can ride.
And he makes you feel vulnerable.
And he makes you feel vulnerable, like you showed up to school naked just by throwing a collar towel.
If you have it, well, that was good, dude. That was a good one. You had Penn State, Iowa.
Yeah.
That was good.
Come on.
So,
I'm getting better.
all right, you're hired again.
All right.
No more resumes. Fretwell stays on. Because we couldn't rename it Ropewell. It'd have to be somebody that name ended well,
yeah,
too.
you would get some weird people though. You get some weird last names. But to me, Morgan McIntosh is the most exciting guy to watch in this bracket. But if we had like a Cox McIntosh match, who knows? Because I mean, I'm telling you, both of them are gigantic physical specimens and can fly for the weight. But
Jaden Cox should be playing football somewhere. That's
Sure.
all I'm saying.
Make a million
I'm so
bucks.
glad he's wrestling, but that dude's a crazy sick athlete.
I bet Sammy Henson still drops the hammer on him though. Come on, man.
I asked.
Who wrestles him in practice?
I don't know. They just got a grizzly bear back there.
It's
actually a tiger. It's their mascot. They got a real tiger
bear.
They make Jaden Cox go in there and wrestle him.
God,
it's a liger too. It's not
how do
even
you
a tiger.
get up to wrestle him?
It's part lion, part tiger because a tiger is just not big enough to handle Jaden Cox.
It's got to have the big mane.
Not to skip over all these guys, I know we jumped down there to the bottom. Taylor Meeks, he was #1 ranked guy coming into the season. Unbelievable top wrestler. He's really dangerous
now.
And a good athlete, man, because he lost to Schiller at the beginning of the year. They had kind of a 1 and 2 matchup there at the beginning. Schiller's a guy, man, as a #1 ranked guy in the country, I haven't seen him wrestle a whole lot. A little bit last year, but he was young, and I know he's made some big jumps, so I'm going to watch him. He's in like my top 10 guys to watch because I need a little more information on him. Gadsden had a kind of, not really a coming out party because he's a pretty well-known guy, but he had a great NCAAs.
Yep.
I shouldn't say it was an awesome story because it wasn't an awesome story, but the deal with his dad passing away and going to NCAAs and doing so well, kind of an inspiration. So he's kind of become a fan favorite for me.
And Iowa State, we've made some points in the past about where that program is and almost alluded to the fact it was in a little bit of peril. You're starting to see that it takes 2-3 years to get that thing steered in the right direction and then kind of get it trotting up. We're starting to see that up now. You're starting to see a lot of these Iowa State guys really, and it's kind of the same thing with you and I. You've seen that Schwab come in, turn that program around, start recruiting the right type of guys for their fit. Now you're starting to see that upswing too. Same thing with Iowa State.
Speaking of the right type of guys, Josh Alber, you and I commit. Dude's legit.
He was up there when we were up there.
Yeah.
He was up there. He came in there and on his visit. He was up there.
That's right. You're right.
Super cool to have that kid up there.
Phil Wellington is another guy I pull for, man. Got to know him a pretty good bit this summer. Just a cool dude, man. Really relaxed and just doesn't realize how gigantic he is. He thinks he's a little dude, so he'll grab you and want to play around, and you're just scared the whole time because
That's
Phil,
great.
if you flex your muscles,
Darren Burns,
yeah, he's Darren Burns big.
Crazy.
And really good. I mean, athletic too, and he's only going to get better.
Your number 15 ranked Rochelle, you got to throw them in there, obviously.
What about Pollock? You watch a lot of Drexel stuff. I hadn't seen him wrestle much.
Pollock, to me, was it 2 years ago? I kind of jumped on his train. He wrestled some real good guys in the country close, and then kind of had a bad ending to the season. Just kind of didn't put it together. I tell you, it's got solid on top, moves well for a big guy, man. I like watching this guy wrestle, but I haven't seen him wrestle one match all season. I'm looking for him to get back to his winning ways and really starting to wrestle these best guys tough. He's definitely got a couple of those better guys to tangle with at this tournament. So I'd really like to see Brandon Pollock get out there and see what he's got this season. I really didn't get to see a ton of him so far this season. So
Dude, how ridiculous is the bottom half of this bracket? You've got Gadsden, McIntosh, Meeks, Wellington.
Pollock?
No, Pollock's at the top.
Rochelle.
No, Wellington's at No, he's at the bottom too. That's so tough.
Gonna be a man coming out of the top.
Oh man, this whole bracket's tough, man. 1 through 8, 1 through 9. I mean, you got the Rochelle in there too. Matty Ace is tough, man. This is just a really good weight. 197 at the Scuffle. Tune in. It's gonna be bananas.
It's got your number 1, 2, 3, 9, 6, 13, 14, 12, 15 ranked guys in the country. So 9 top 15 guys in the country.
Above average, sir.
Tony Nelson, Gwizdowski, Johnson, Larson, Marsden, Stolfi, Desi, who is low because of some recent losses, but literally could beat everybody in this bracket. Heron, Marchok, Gingrich, Mellon, and my boy PJ Tasser. That's going to be your top 12 seeds.
Tasser's the biggest heavyweight on the planet.
No, he's not. He barely makes the minimum for heavyweight. But dude, qualified for NCAAs last year as the tiniest heavyweight in the history of Earth.
Somebody let me know where Marchuk wrestled for that name. That name's kind of popping in my brain, but I can't think of any matches he wrestled.
Stanford boy.
If he had a big win or where he wrestled in high school, I can't figure it out.
I called the Gwiz win last year. Was Nelson beat Z in the semis on a questionable call on the edge of the mat? Was that it? Because I remember Coleman Scott jumping up out of his chair and stomping the bleachers, and I peed myself just a little bit.
I think it. I think it was it Nelson? I was sitting right in front of it. I can't remember now.
It might have been. I'll tell you, Gwizdowski to me is the
Brings it.
funnest heavyweight in
McMullen and Gwizdowski have to wrestle this year.
yeah, Gwizdowski's the funnest heavyweight to watch, not just because he scrambles
Most
great
fun.
for a big heavyweight, the funnest. But dude, he's out there having fun, scoring points, loving life. He's not your prototypical keep it close, win by a couple points type heavyweight. He'll take some chances in a match, which I love to see, and I'm always picking him to win everything on the planet. There's some pretty good style matchups here as we get later in the brackets, as some of these guys might see each other. But
I hope we get to see Jeremy Johnson and Gwiz. That'd be a good action-packed match. Johnson keeps a really high pace, hand fights really hard. It's got good level changes. It's got some great Granby stuff on bottom. Another proof that Ohio guys do a great job, man. I want to see Marsden. He's got a great prep career, but I hadn't seen him wrestle a whole lot in college, so I'm going to try and check out a few of his matches, see what he's got at heavyweight. You talked about Desi. Unbelievable talent.
Yeah, came out at Michigan. Was it Eastern Michigan Duels? Yeah, Eastern Michigan Duels. Knocked up a couple top 8 guys in the country.
Didn't he win Fila Juniors or U.S. Open or
something like that?
That's the first time I saw him wrestle. It was freestyle. I can't remember what tournament it was, and I was like, I'd never heard of him before. I was like, this Joker is good.
Big dude. Can move well. Good defense. But I think he's kind of low in the rankings now after beating those top guys. He's maybe dropped 1 or 2. He might have dropped 1 or 2 to some head scratchers that same weekend at the duels. But like I said, he's got the skill set, especially against a Tony Nelson type guy who's going to score his garden variety 2-3 points a match. If the guy like Desi can keep it close, he can squeeze out a win against a guy like Nelson. Now,
speaking of Nelson, we got to change the death penalty in the United States. It should just be, if you're on death row,
you gotta wrestle Tony Nelson.
Just bottom the whole time. You gotta be on bottom the entire time.
That's great. I didn't know where you were going with that. I was like, hold up, man. He's about to get political here. It's Obama's fault. Everybody's broke. And he's just talking about the death penalty. Yeah. No big deal.
Putting guys underneath Nelson.
Like I said,
see, that was the stuff you used to do.
I know.
I'm just taking over.
I'll get better, man. You just got to give me a little bit of time.
I'm motivating you.
You got to give me a little bit of time.
I know how to work this.
It'll be in March. Are you coaching me up, dude? That's why you're the Yoda.
So you're just going Dake style. You're just going to kind of you're going to do a great job, and it's going to be all right.
March, I'm going to show
time,
out. Just Jagger's blood. Just pour it all over me. Just shower myself in Jagger's blood and just show up for March. If you are, no joke, if you're within 5 hours of Chattanooga and you don't make an effort to get there, you hate wrestling. You got to wake up on Wednesday morning and look in the mirror and tell yourself, I hate wrestling because I'm not going to the Scuffle.
No joke. No matter where you are, you can watch every. Do they have every mat done?
Every mat will be live at
You
the
can
Scuffle.
watch every match. Pay the monthly membership and watch the best wrestling in the country this weekend, because you know you've got a few hours, you're not doing anything, especially the quarters, semis, and finals. If you love wrestling, you gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Do it. Don't be stupid. We're out of here.
We gotta go to Chattanooga.